shut that plant down right away. You gotta shut that plant down right away. Decommission it today. You gotta shut that plant down right away. You gotta shut that plant down right away. You gotta shut that plant down right away. Decommission it today. Ready for the handout, handing it to the rat. You gotta shut that plant down right away. You gotta shut that plant down right away. You gotta shut that plant down right away. Decommission it today. Go on. We're gonna shut down that power plant down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. We're gonna shut down that power plant down by the riverside. 'Cause we don't need it anymore.
So I encourage you to move over here around this area over here and avail yourself of the opportunity to question Marvin Goethe.
Hey, Judge! Hey, Judge! They're coming.
Oh. I've come to answer your questions, and I hope I can assuage your fears. I'm Judge, what is my name? Goethe. Marvin.
Goethe.
I'm not Judge
Oh,
Goethe.
Goethe.
I'm Judge Marvin Goethe. I'm a colleague of the other judge. I'm with the U.S. Court of Circular Justice. So, does anyone have any questions about the case?
I do.
Yes.
I'm really concerned that it's been 40 years that this has been open and there's been so many accidents. And
I'm concerned that you're concerned, really, but there's no need to worry, because there are many scientists have worried about this, and they've looked at all the issues, and they're taking care of it.
I hear you, but I'm really concerned about the water that's going down into the Connecticut
They
River right
actually
now.
have amassed a mountain, a veritable mountain of evidence. And I wouldn't worry about the river. It's a big river, really. It's very
I hear you,
big.
But there was that time when that coolant tower collapsed, and I saw those pictures, and it was really kind of scary.
That was quite a while. You know, that was an old. They were planning to have that one collapse, actually.
I have a concern too.
Yes. Do you have a concern?
I'm concerned that energy's packed your pockets full of money for you to come up with this decision.
I think that's.
Show me your pockets.
Lucky I don't have my shorts on.
You must have changed your pants, because
Yes, I just
I
have
think
some
you have a
scissors.
lot of
No,
money
no,
in your
really.
pockets.
No, I don't. I wouldn't worry about. They're really hardworking people, honorable men and women have amassed this mountain of evidence, and we've digested it, and we know that the plant is safe, very safe, and of course legal. Oh, is that a dog? Is that a dog?
No, this is my dog. No.
I don't like dogs.
She likes to pull curtains.
She likes to pull curtains. So, please, can that dog stop? That dog stop.
Oh, my goodness! That's your mountain of evidence?
Well, yes, that's actually a stockholder, and the stockholder's existence, is part of capitalism, and that's an evidence that needs to be considered. We need to consider the whole welfare of society, and this is the basis of our society. Don't you all agree? No. Well,
I want to understand, what are the plans for that nuclear waste that's just sitting there? What are his plans for this?
maybe as an opportunity to ask the stockholder what the plan, nuclear waste. That's the stuff.
Stockholder, what are your plans for all the nuclear waste that's just sitting there?
Nuclear waste. What are your plans? What are you doing with it?
He has no plans!
No plan.
They don't care. They don't have an answer. Hey, Mr. Stockholder, where do you live? All you care about is money.
You're very rigid.
Gentlemen, you seem to be here to protect the stockholder. Do you, maybe you should take your glasses off and look at this situation, actually. I'm kind of reconsidering it myself, and it doesn't look good.
Plan.
No plan.
Pass out the money.
Where's the plan? What about Provo?
So, all right, I guess that's it. We have to reassess what to do now.
We'll help you.
Well, we're driving into Entergy anyway.
We have a mountain of other elements that you can reconsider.
Yes.
And it passes under underpasses. It's small enough to get into that.
13 feet 7 inches.
Very good. So you drive around with it on the car?
Yes.
Including the top hat.
You should probably get an escort vehicle with flashing lights in front and in back.
This is what I said they did not want to hear. Get the line.
They're not as much as 1 year.
Can I help you? I think just has to go right now. Vermont Yankee just has to go right now. Just has to go right now. Shut it down. Shut it down. Vermont Yankee just has to go right now.
Rainbow,
Thank you very much.
skies are blue,
It's a very, very important day
and
in a
the
life-giving,
dreams
life-protecting
we dare to
movement
dream.
that we believe is in the point of growing and growing. And here in
Someday
Vermont,
I'll wish upon a star
it's a place and a
wake
time
up where
all
those clouds
can gather. There are people here from nuclear reactors in other parts of the country to get encouragement
where
from the people
troubles
here
melt
to
like
shut down their
lemon
reactors.
drops. Way above
And,
chimney tops,
there's
that's
so much we
where
can change in the world, but the universe is telling us we must stop the nuclear reactors and the whole nuclear cycle. It is begging us. We must do this. So I'm very happy to be here. We just finished a 3-week walk to the Seabrook reactor and Plymouth reactor and here, and we find people everywhere in their hearts don't want nuclear power. So we are at this cusp of great change. We just have to encourage one another, keep going. Thank you.
bluebird.
All right, so we're going to be starting the program over here in just a few more minutes. I'd like to ask anyone who is here who is a driver or a medic, in order to pick up your armband, please move over to this white building over to my left, to your right, by the road, little white building. If you are a medic or a driver, you can get an armband, and any legal contact people who are support people for an affinity group, over by the statue to my right, to your left, the legal committee is there, and they would like to introduce themselves to you and meet you. So during this next moment, we're going to have a little bit more music, then we're going to begin the program, but this is a good time to stop over and get your armbands and to meet the legal contact people. Thank you. I want to let you know who's doing this fine music for you. This is Scott Ainsley. He's a local musician, longtime nuclear opponent, who thinks that using nuclear power to boil water is like ringing a doorbell with a cannon.
Actually, I had said shooting a squirrel with a howitzer, but it's the same idea. Seems like overkill to me. A little blues tune to get us on our way today. It's been a joy to be with you this morning. I wish us all a safe day and a happy day.
Side. When you've got a good friend that will stay right by your side, give her all your spare time, love and treat her right. That's some good advice. See the reason why I mistreat my baby. I can't see the reason why. Every time I think about it, I just wring my hands and cry. Wring your hands and cry. Love and treat her right. This guitar was made in 1931, and in that year, Blind Boy Fuller was recording blues tunes in Durham, North Carolina. Yeah, this will be the last song, so please gather in front of the stage now. We're going to have announcements and prepare to get underway. So don't come for me, come for them. But join us over here, if you will. This is a song about knowing when to get out of the way. She was little and low, used to love me, but she don't no more. Got to step it up and go. Yeah, step it up and go. Say we can't stay here now, I swear we got to step it up and go. Me and my gal walking down the street, scaring everybody except the chief of police. You got to step it up and go. See him, you got to step it up and go. Mama, we can't stay here now, I swear we got to step it up and go. Yeah, get out of here now. Step it up and go, yeah, go. Say we can't stay here now, I swear we got to step it up and go. I had a little girl, she lived upstairs, tried to make a living by putting on airs. You got to step it up, mama. Yeah, step it up and go. I don't want you here now, I swear you got to step it up and go. Well, the front door shut and the back door too, the blinds are pulled down. What you gonna do, man? You got to step it up. Yeah, step it up, go. Said we can't stay here now. I swear we got to step it up and go. Step it up and go. Yeah. Step it up and go. Yeah, go. Said we can't stay here now. I swear we got to step it up and go. I sing this verse and gonna sing no more cause the police are knocking down my front door. I got to step it up. Yeah, step it up and go. Said I can't stay here now. I swear we got to step it up and go. Yeah, down there, step it to the street, man. Come on. Step it up and go. Yeah, go. Said we can't stay here now. I swear we got to step it up and go. Thanks so much.
Scott Ainsley, let's thank him for keeping us company this morning.
Thank you for keeping us company.
And I tell you, from where I'm standing, you can see what a beautiful alliance it is. Look around. You are beautiful. And this is a great day for Sage. And it's a great day for the state of Vermont. Because it's the first day when it's absolutely clear to everyone, in case anyone had any doubts, that in the words of Senate President Pro Tem John Campbell, we are dealing with a rogue corporation. And now we know. So I want to just see a little bit of who's here. Anyone who's in a affinity group from Northern Vermont, would you please raise your hand and give us a shout? Yeah. All right, Northern Vermont. How about from Southern Vermont? All right. How about from Central Vermont? Fabulous. How about anybody from New Hampshire? Let's hear you. And then how about from the great liberated territory of Western Massachusetts? You poor people must be downwind. So I just want to say a few words here about why we're here. I know you know, but let's just review it for a moment. We come peacefully to Entergy headquarters today with this message. Your time is up. We deliver this message with the spirit of nonviolence, and we will do our utmost to ensure that spirit and discipline throughout this campaign until the reactor is closed. Entergy's attempt to keep its aged, leaking, accident-plagued reactor operating in defiance of the expressed will of the Vermont legislature and the people of Vermont and the tri-state area is an unacceptable affront to democracy and the right of the people to safeguard their own well-being and determine their own energy future. Entergy's actions are those of a rogue corporation, rooted in monetary profit rather than the public good of the people of this tri-state region. We call upon Entergy to immediately close Vermont Yankee and begin the lengthy process of decommissioning the reactor and returning the site to a greenfields condition. This day is just the beginning of our nonviolent action as long as Entergy refuses to close Vermont Yankee. So I want to, at this point, bring up Leslie Sullivan Sachs, a fine organizer, a tireless organizer of the Sage Alliance, to talk to you about some housekeeping details.
First housekeeping detail, music. Could all the musicians please join Dan DeWalt to the left, my left of the gazebo, your right of the gazebo, right over here. Musicians, some point across Route 5, and the police will escort us through the Rotary at Interstate 91. The march should take about 90 minutes. When we arrive at Energy headquarters, we will gather across the street in the safety zone. The safety zone is the home of a friendly neighbor who has donated it to us for the day. Please, yes, yay, yay. So perhaps I don't have to read this part. Please treat his property with respect. Sage has put 3 porta potties on site, and there's a medic tent there.
Repeated,
There are
consistent
logging
acts of
trucks
civil
and
disobedience from
garbage
now
trucks
until they leave.
going up and down
So
that
are you planning
road
on getting
all
arrested?
day.
Probably.
So stay
I'm planning on
off
trespassing on
the
energy
street.
property. So if they don't want us there, then we'll probably get
After we
arrested.
arrive, for the first 45 minutes or
Sunday
so,
vest here. You're wearing a suit and
Brett
a
and
tie. Why
Puppet
is that?
and others
Well, for 2 reasons.
will
Number
do
one,
some
I'm
street
doing the
theater
business of
and
the
some
state,
music.
so I'm going to wear my business suit. And number
While
two,
this is
I'm really
going
tired
on,
of people. They see
send
someone walking
your
down the street
affinity group
expressing
rep
solidarity with the state
to
instead of calling them dirty
Lillengale
hippie protesters.
and I will be standing under a
First
big
of all, we're not
fir
really
tree
protesting.
right at
we're
the corner.
affirming the
And
state's
we'll
right to
sign
act
you
in this
up
way.
for where
And
your
we're not
affinity
dirty.
group
We have
will
jobs.
be
A lot of
in
us
the
are losing money
sequence
today because we took a day
of
off from our job.
trespass.
And so I'm going to wear my best because I'm really tired of the stereotypes which are incorrect.
So that's
about
one
the type of
affinity
people
group
that are engaged in
member.
this activity.
Come see Debbie and me under the
Well,
big
can
fir
you play
tree.
something on your...
The affinity groups will approach Entergy's front door in waves. This is considered trespassing. The people doing this will be risking arrest.
so much. Is there anything else you want to add?
We'll give y'all more specifics
Entergy's
when we
movement
get there.
has proven to be
We will
really
use the
bad
mic to announce when
corporate
the action
partner.
will start,
This is not
and
to say
then
that
to
all
announce
corporations
each
are bad,
group to
not
come
in the
forward
least.
in sequence.
But we have here in Vermont a really bad apple.
The
And for
SAGE
us to
code for
somehow
today's
trust the
action
Nuclear Regulatory
is that
Commission,
people
which
who
has
are
been in
risking
bed with the
arrest
nuclear industry
today
since the very
have
beginning,
received
to look out for our
nonviolent
interests and
direct
take care of
action
our safety
training
needs is laughable.
and be a member
so
of an
if we
affinity
do not
group.
take action on our own behalf,
We understand
we are
that there
sticking
may
our
be
heads in the
people here
sand
today
to our
who
own
may want to risk
danger.
arrest, who haven't
so
received
in
the
terms of,
training,
like,
and who aren't members of affinity
Power
groups.
supply in the state of Vermont. What is it?
It is clear from all the legal
Well,
shenanigans,
as of today,
shenanigans going
no one in the state of
on,
Vermont is buying any power from energy.
that
The
we are
free
going to
market
have
has already decided that
lots
energy
more
is not a good deal. Their power is more
for
expensive.
direct action.
Their power is less reliable. So all of our utilities have already bought their power elsewhere. They're using a combination of Hydro-Quebec,
What those actions will
wind,
look like will be
methane,
created
smaller
through
hydro,
a process, through
bigger
the
gas
affinity
fire
groups
plants, and even
in
the
the
Seabrook
future.
nuclear power plant.
If you
So
want to
our
participate
utilities
in
have
that
not
creative process,
sworn off nuclear
if
entirely,
you want to get trained,
but they recognize that
if
the
you
future
want to
of energy
join an
production
affinity group
is
or
not in
create
big
an
nuclear
affinity group,
installations that can
there's
only be built
volunteers
with
throughout the
loan guarantees from the
crowd.
government,
They
with
have
insurance
clipboards,
guaranteed
they
by the
have
government,
flyers.
and with
Find them. Or when you
disposal
get
of the
home,
waste
go to
guaranteed by the
SAGE
government.
website.
So there's nothing in the free market that would possibly
Today
support
is
nuclear
just
power.
the beginning.
It's subsidized.
We are
it's
here
a
to occupy
corporate welfare
for
situation
today.
is subsidized by the federal government. When if we put a fraction
When
of that money
6 o'clock
into
comes,
further efficiency efforts, into small
if all
scale
your arrests have
generation
been
efforts,
done,
we would have
we will
way
end
more
that
power
time
with
so that people can
zero
walk
risk as
out
opposed to
that
tremendous
dangerous road
Great.
in the light.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
If, however, there are still arrests going on at 6 o'clock, we will stay until the last person is arrested and has been taken off the property. There's a lot of support out there for you today. This is what the support looks like. Blue armbands, those are the peacekeepers. We've got, I don't know what, 20 peacekeepers in blue armbands. Medics, red armbands. Yay, medics! Legal observers trained by the National Lawyers Guild, bright green armbands. The support vehicles, we got 3 of them that are going to follow the march and will be there at the safety zone. They have yellow ribbons
tied to their cars, and they've got yellow armbands. There are teams of volunteers who are supporting logistics, communications, legal, police, and media. Everybody here today is a volunteer. Please don't give them a hard time. Dozens of people through a really lengthy consensus process have worked together to give us all the opportunity to do this action today. Today, Vermont and her neighbors can once again lead the nation. We can show them that this is what democracy looks like. Peaceful, joyous action. I've got one more piece of housekeeping business. Now, if you're of the old school, you can repeat after me. Everybody else? Mic check. Sage Alliance Nonviolent Code of Conduct. Our attitude will be one of openness and respect toward all we encounter in our actions. Will be one of Two, we will use no violence. Verbal or physical. Toward any person. Three, we will Thank you. We will not harm anyone. And we will not retaliate in reaction to violence. We will not carry weapons. We will neither be under the influence nor bring any non-prescribed drugs or alcohol. We will neither bring dogs or other animals except for service animals. During a demonstration, we will not run or make threatening motions. In case of any confrontation, we will sit down. While affirming that people's lives and safety are more important than property. We will not destroy or damage property.
We will not destroy or damage property.
All participants in the civil disobedience actions will receive preparation in nonviolent direct action. Only two more. Those engaging in civil disobedience with us will be members of affinity groups, represented at a spokes council. We support a diversity of nonviolent direct action, including but not limited to civil disobedience. Thank you all for your patience.
All right, I want you to all be very quiet and listen because we have a phone call coming from somewhere. I want to see if this works on speaker. If it doesn't, I'll just tell you, I'll repeat it. Here we go. You ready?
England National Guard Affinity Group, and we're calling from the corporate tower of Entergy Corporation in New Orleans, Louisiana. And we want people to know that just as there's no business as usual for Entergy today in Brattleboro and in Vernon, there's no business as usual today at Entergy's corporate headquarters today. We're going to shut down Vernon, and we're waiting to speak to J. Wayne Leonard, the CEO of Entergy, and so, okay, all right, we have to go.
All right, it's the New England National Guard calling from the corporate headquarters of Entergy in New Orleans. They are inside, and they are just now beginning conversations with the people who have noticed them. So it has begun. I'd like to introduce now Jeff Unsicker from Nuclear Free Vermont.
As I'm sure everybody knows, it's the Vermont legislature that said Vermont Yankee must be closed today, and it's the Vermont legislature that is being mistreated, misunderstood, and disobeyed. But you may not, and the Vermont legislature voted in the Senate 26-4 for Vermont Yankee to close. It's their support all over the state. What you may not know is that the delegation from Windham County, this county, has been in the leadership. Many of them would have liked to be here today. They're voting on the budget in Montpelier, so they asked that a message be read. To the Vermont Sage affinity groups in attendance at today's event, we, the undersigned, wish to recognize the value of your persistence, steadfastness, and focus on helping to move Vermont away from 20th century technology and helping to move Vermont toward energy policies and technologies that advance us solidly into the 21st century. We acknowledge your dedication in getting your voices heard. Signed members of the delegation, I will read their names. Representative Sarah Edwards. Representative Mike Morwicki. Representative Ann Mainwaring. Representative John Moran. Representative Dick Merrick. Representative David Dean. Representative Molly Burke. Representative Valerie Stewart. Representative Carolyn Partridge. Senator Peter Galbraith. And the senator who introduced the legislation that became Act 160, Senator Jeanette White.
So, during this next section, there will be people passing around among you with buckets. This work that we're doing together costs money. Not that what we're doing is to give our time, but the organizing, the materials, you know the drill. Porta potties. Permits, etc., is costing the Sage Alliance money. So please give what you can, give generously, and watch for the buckets. So I'd now like to introduce to you two singers who have been doing this work for a long time and are wonderful, rousing, and delightful human beings, Charlie King and Karen Brandau.
Thank you. Certainly no more rousing, delightful, and wonderful than all of you are. It's so great to look out at this vast sea of faces. Karen, have you got a microphone going for you? I'm good. Working? Yeah.
We say the nukes have got to go, got to go, got to go. We say the nukes have got to go before it all comes tumbling down.
Try that.
We say the nukes have got to go, got to go, got to go. We say the nukes have got to go before it all comes tumbling down.
Well, it happened at 3 Mile Island, at Chernobyl on the Russian frontier. It happened at Fukushima, Daiichi, but it ain't gonna happen here. Why not?
We say the nukes have got to go, got to go, got to go. We say the nukes have got to go before it all comes tumbling down.
Try it by yourselves. We say
The nukes have got to go, got to go, got to go. We say the nukes have got to go before it all comes tumbling down. You can talk about the needs of industry, you can talk about investment plans, you want to talk about health and safety, then you're gonna have to take a stand. We say the nukes have got to go, got to go, got to go. We say the nukes have got to go before it all comes tumbling down.
they poisoned the wells with tritium. They lied about the pumping and piping underground. The tower collapsed. Their license has lapsed, and they're gonna have to shut it down. We say the nukes have got to go, got to go, got to go. We say the nukes have got to go before it all comes tumbling down. They may own an army of lawyers. They may own the NRC. They may own the land and the license, but they don't own you and me. That's why we say the nukes have got to go, got to go, got to go. We say the nukes have got to go before it all comes tumbling down. Did you march to the Vermont State House? Did you occupy Seabrook with the Klan? Will you march to the office of Entergy? While the people all over this land are saying, we say the nukes have got to go, got to go, got to go. We say the nukes have got to go before it all comes tumbling. One more time, we say the nukes have got to go, got to go, got to go. We say the nukes have got to go before it all comes tumbling down.
And while we're at it, let's thank Klondike and Klondike Sound for donating all this sound in both sites today. Klon is the man. All right, so what's going to happen, we're going to have one more speaker, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to explain how to get into the march. We're going to move into the march. So one more speaker, and then I'll be back to tell you about that. And then we're going to be singing ourselves into the march. All right, so I want to introduce now a longtime nuclear activist and Citizens Awareness Network organizer who yesterday in the legislature building, the state capitol, stood and toasted Will Newcomb of NuCorPAC, the Nuclear Corporation Political Action Committee, and stood in the chamber with a leaking cup that was dripping all over the floor. Please welcome Chris Williams.
But thank you, Will. Court. Good morning, Sage Alliance. We've got a beautiful day here. Look at this. There's a lot of sun. There's a lot of wind. And a lot of good people. It's a great day to start this phase, the final phase of the Vermont Yankees saga. My first message, and you've heard it before, but I gotta say it one more time. We put a lot of effort and energy into this. Our power, our strength is from nonviolence. Our nonviolence and persistence is what will make Entergy turn it off. I also want to bring up another important point and make it crystal clear. All these past few years, the talk about prohibition regarding discussion of safety at that reactor. Make no mistake, what the law says is that our legislators cannot regulate safety. And I can assure you, they did not do that. That Entergy was able to convince a judge of that is a travesty. A travesty that will be undone. We as citizens have the right and the duty to be concerned about safety at nukes and to discuss it as often and as loudly as we desire. Halfway around the world, in Japan, perhaps safety wasn't discussed enough. I can assure you today that as 52 out of 54 reactors are not operating in Japan, that they are discussing safety. And the Japanese word for safety is onzen. Say it again, onzen. Onzen. Say it loudly, onzen. Onzen. That's really good work. You know, there's a group of people who have been above the fray when it comes to the nuke in Vernon and the nuke south of Boston and the nukes in New York State and the nukes in Michigan that are owned by Entergy Corporation. It wasn't too many months ago I stood at the gates of the reactor and spoke to J. Wayne Leonard. J. Wayne! J. Wayne! an old enemy of mine. But Jay Wayne gets his marching orders from a very illustrious group of people. An illustrious group of people who need to hear from all of the communities that they impact. A group of people who meet quarterly, have a nice lunch, shake their heads up and down, and collect, 150 or 200 grand a year for their trouble. I'm speaking of the board of directors of Entergy Corporation. So today, in addition to what we do at the headquarters, I want to propose that we start a program of communication with these people. Constructive, nonviolent communication that drives the point home to them. That their support of Entergy's malfeasance, their business plan that calls for buying old nuclear power plants and running them into the ground, is unacceptable to our communities. And here they are, and we'll give you more contact specifics in the coming weeks. Maureen Scannell Bateman, you're on notice. Gary W. Edwards of Houston, Texas, formerly on the board of directors of Conoco. You, sir, are on notice. This one really upsets me. Alexis M. Herman, former Secretary of Labor under President Bill Clinton. Alexis, you are on notice. Donald C. Hintz, a former member of the U.S. Department of Energy's Nuclear and Energy Advisory Committee. Mr. Hintz, this is your wake-up call. You're on notice.
Take the hint.
Stuart L. Levenick, Group President and Executive Office Member of Caterpillar Incorporated. You better start thinking about what you do in communities where you work, Mr. Levenick. You're on notice. Here's another one that upsets me, but doesn't necessarily surprise me. Blanche Lambert Lincoln, former senator from the state of Arkansas. Stuart Myers, professor at MIT. Maybe you could come to Vermont and explain to us how it is that your company is running roughshod over the state of Vermont. William A. Percy II, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Greenville Compress Company. You're on notice, buddy. We're almost to the end. This is a good one. W.J. Billy Tauzin, former congressman from Louisiana, and now one of the wealthiest pharmaceutical lobbyists on earth. Billy T., you're on notice. And last but not least, Stephen B. Wilkinson, retired auditing partner, Arthur Anderson Incorporated. So as I said, this is a campaign we need to pick up. We need to get communications into these people. Because we finished with an Arthur Anderson employee, I just want to touch on a little accounting before the fun starts here today. 18 nuclear power plants have been retired in the United States. 18. 104 to go. We have to support our friends and colleagues in Georgia to make sure that those 2 under construction never, ever get turned on. Of the 18 that have been closed in this country, 2 were closed because they melted down. 1 in Michigan and 1 in Pennsylvania. 1 was closed by popular demand of the citizen owners, Rancho Seco in California. The other 15 were shut down because the flawed economics of nuclear power caught up with the bottom line of the companies and the plants went away. Friends and neighbors, what we've got down the road here is the biggest loss leader in an Entergy stable. This week, and probably for many weeks in the immediate past, the condenser at Vermont Yankee has been yelling, "Turn me off! Turn me off!" To replace that condenser is going to cost $150 to $200 million. Did you hear that one, Jay Wade? Jay Wade! This week, the NRC, in its first major ruling in the wake of the Fukushima accident, said they're going to require all nuclear power plants in this country to upgrade their safety systems. Imagine that. to deal with loss of power incidents. The conservative price tag, $100 million. So we're up to $300 million. If we are successful at stopping the rape and pillage of the Connecticut River, and Entergy is forced to use the cooling towers, that will cut into their bottom line. And then you gotta bear with me here on an accounting trick that I'm all too familiar with. To those figures I just mentioned, you have to add the nuclear cost overrun multiplier. Anything to do with nuclear costs a shitload more than they say it will. I figure we're over $500 million to keep that hulking plant operating. So my friends, I predict we're going to have a perfect storm. The bottom line at Entergy, and the bottom line that we non-violently deliver to this company in the coming months and weeks, is going to make the difference. And one day, we're going to wake up, and the first thing we're going to hear, is Entergy is throwing in the towel. And this is no, this is no make you feel good kind of deal. I'm saying this because this is how it goes down. And our activities today are truly the beginning of the end for Entergy. So what I need you to do today is be safe and be strong and be solid to one another. Let's make this work, and let's have a great day.
All right. We have another phone call. So let's listen to it. You got to be real quiet so you can hear this. Here we go. Okay, you got to talk real slow and loud. Slow and loud.
I'm outside of the Entergy nuclear headquarters in White Plains. Where a group of Scottish Vermont anti-nuke activists calling themselves the Green Mountain Delegates. We're inside the House Gate to meet with Entergy corporate execs, demanding that Entergy cease its attack on Vermont's democratic process and honor its agreement it signed with the state.
All right. We'll sign off here. Thank you. So that means we've got an affinity group at the headquarters in New Orleans and an affinity group at the sub-headquarters in White Plains, New York. So let's get ready to make our contribution now. What do you say? So here's what's going to happen. We're going to have one more song. Please sing lustily with me. We're going to be led by the Shutter Down Brass Band, who will come up, play a little music, we'll sing together, and then they're going to move around to my left, to your right, around where the band is now standing, and we're going to form this march along this gravel road behind the gazebo. That road stretches from way up there to way back there. So follow that band, the first people. If you want to stay in your affinity groups, that's great. You don't have to. You'll come right back around here. Follow that march up to the front. Other people forming back. When we're all in line and we're all ready to go, we'll take off. When we get to the other end, follow the march into our safety zone, a piece of property that was very generously donated to us by an abutting neighbor of Entergy. And then we'll talk more from there. All right.
Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful march. And now, the Shutter Down Brass Band.
day for the state of Vermont and for the SAGE Alliance. We are beginning the next phase of our work to shut down the Vermont Yankee nuclear power plant and to uphold democracy. And we stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Japan who are fighting for safety. Now are we supposed to stay on the sidewalk for now?
I'm helping with traffic control
For what?
for the demonstration or the march.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sounds so official when you have a microphone. Dude on a bike.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Keep up the good work. No, there's a lot of people.
That's the right way to do it.
You never have as long as Round Dog.
Oh, yeah. Blows the whistle and like a sound. Freeze, whatever they're doing. They stand back on
There is. Hey, Sophie. Sitting on the grass.
Yeah, it's more college back there. If and when they ever, I'm curious if they've ever actually caught it.
Finish. Oh, excuse me.
No, well, you're not. I am. Wearing shoes, I have to wear these special shirts. Otherwise, my feet hurt.
I don't think Chief Cleaner's going to bring me iced coffee. I need to get it myself.
I want to work from a place where I know what my habits are, so I'm really clear about that. Yeah. We listen to them because they're all small world and what it's all about. What the same? You would too. We have our own country.
Journalists, that's very good.
You're on camera, Pan. He likes being on camera. He's got his lead.
The officers, man. They should be doing better. Kind of reflects the state of the
Are you guys just arriving? Yeah, come up here. Wow, look at that. Still coming, huh? Hello. Yeah, that's what I heard too. Yeah, that's what I heard. 10:50. Yeah, you don't want
Where
to go
did you
through
get
that. Go
your
around it.
flag? It's a great flag.
Right around.
The shank will be moving this way.
All right, everyone, welcome to the safety zone. I think we could probably use about 5 or 10 minutes just to chill out and rest a little bit here, don't you? Then in a little while, we're going to begin about 45 minutes worth of entertainment and gathering activities. And then we will head up the road to Entergy. We're going to tell you more about that as we go along, but why don't we take a few minutes now and just chill.